papers for the eastern and western regions. Special voting in these two regions to take place on Thursday, December 5. We have details as 14 regions are to hold special voting today, December 2. And in international news, at least 54 bodies retrieved or recovered from Nigeria's river Niger after boats capsized with more than 200 passengers on it. These details and many more coming up shortly. Please do stay with us. And indeed, we are your election command center. This morning, there will be no special voting in the eastern and western regions. That's after the Electoral Commission has recalled all presidential ballot papers for the two regions following a leak of a single ballot paper at the printing house. Now, a news conference, the EC urged the public and the police to help safeguard the electoral process.
According to the Electoral Commission, the decision to recall the ballot papers follows an alert from National Security regarding a missing defaced ballot paper at the Checkpoint Printing House, the company responsible for printing the presidential ballots for the eastern and western regions. With no clear explanation for the supposed theft, the Commission has decided to reprint all presidential ballots with added security features.
It has been agreed by all the Commission and all the parties that because the printing house, Checkpoint, also printed ballot papers for the western region, those ballot papers should also be recalled and printed. And I'd like to note that this was arrived at by the Commission and the political parties, and so there has been agreement here. Therefore, the ballot papers for the two regions, eastern region and western region, will be destroyed by burning, and a new reprint ordered starting today. It is important to note that in order to ensure the integrity of the ballot paper, the Commission will introduce new security features onto ballots that will be printed for the eastern region and the western region. In addition to that, the serial numbers for those ballots for the two regions would be revised. This is to ensure that there would be a marked difference between what has already gone and what has already been printed and what will be printed starting this evening.
Due to this, special voting in both the eastern and western regions originally scheduled for Monday, December 2 will now take place on Thursday, December 5.
In the light of the above, the special voting for the eastern region and the western regions would not take place tomorrow, Monday, the 2nd of December, as planned. The special voting for the two regions would now take place on Thursday, the 5th of December.
Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, has meanwhile called on political parties and the public to help safeguard the electoral process.
We'd like to call on the citizens of Ghana to support the EC in its bid to guarantee the integrity of the elections, not just in the eastern region, but in the western region and the country as a whole. It has not been an easy decision to recall a ballot simply because a defaced ballot paper has been taken out of the printing press. It has not been an easy decision to arrive at.
While reacting to the development, both the MPP and the NDC demanded swift investigations to bring the perpetrators to book.
It is sad that we cannot be told whether the corporates, either a corporate or corporates, have been arrested or not. And the National Security, the Bureau of National Investigation, the CID, all the investigative bodies must step forward and let us know who are the perpetrators. The EC has done its job. The security apparatus must disclose. We demand full disclosure. We demand sunlight on this. We demand that the security apparatus pours chlorine on this so that we will know who the perpetrators are. To date, we have an unresolved issue of biometric voter registration devices that is unresolved. There are lessons to learn from it. We are a few days into an election.
We will urge the security to up their game, ensure that those involved will be made to face the law. I think that this is a heavy decision, and because of that singular act of those people, you've had to put people who have made arrangement to cast their votes, to change their arrangement again. You've had to go through this exercise again, time and resources, because of a certain slip that allows somebody to pick a ballot. So there must be full investigation into this, and anybody with information should assist the police to get to the crunch of it.
Meanwhile, political analyst Dr. Samuel Ifrie has expressed concern over the numerous mistakes that have led to the burning of some ballot papers in the Electoral Commission.
It's unfortunate that the burning of printed ballot papers is getting too much. And I think EC need to set up and to avoid some of these avoidable errors, because it's getting too much. Today, you see that voter Ahapo, we have to burn these ballot papers, and the next day there's a problem, there's a negligence here and there. It's getting too much. And I think if we are not careful, we might compromise the election, because these reprinting, if the printing house have some challenges or they can't meet the deadlines or they have some difficulty, I think EC need to see how they can avoid some of these things, because the burning of these things is getting out of hand, and EC need to set up and ensure that these things are done. Because if it's not the effort of these officers and even the party agent, some of these things could have gotten to the end, and it could have resulted in a lot of issues at the polling station. So these things need to be addressed as soon as practicable. And I mean that the EC need to look at the overall ballot papers that have been earmarked for, that is the December 7th, so that some of these things will not be identified, and to say that you have to ban this, you have to do that. Look at the cost involved of bringing some people that they are supposed to go tomorrow. Are they supposed to go back? What is their schedule? These are inconveniences, and these things need to be avoided. These are avoidable errors and need to be addressed as soon as possible and practicable as well. I would say, since I've not gotten any information or any concern from the political parties, I think that the consultation has been addressed. So I think that since they are all part and they all agree, I think that is good. But it should be avoided. We should not encourage that, because it's getting out of hand. It should not be encouraged.
Well, this year, special voting is expected to take place in 14 regions after the Electoral Commission postponed voting for the Eastern and the Western regions. We'll now cross over to some of our correspondents to report on the preparations ahead of the official start of voting at 7 a.m. Of course, we have Faisal Abdu Idrisu, our voter regional correspondent, as well as Christopher Amwako from the Savannah region. Good morning to you all. Let's start with you, Faisal. Where are you, and what can you report ahead of the start of the special voting?
Well, I'm currently in Ho, and for the voter region today, there are some 9,030 persons who will be voting across 22 centers. As of Friday, we had been informed that the ballot materials for the various constituencies have been sent to the various district police commands ahead of this morning. On Saturday, few others were sent as to, that is with regard to the various constituencies that hadn't received this on Friday. And so the preparations towards today's exercise, from what we were told on Saturday, meant that today the exercise will go on, and that the 22 centers across the region will be operational and start with the process early at 7 a.m. this morning. And so we are expecting that at 7, polls will open.
Good morning, good morning. I told me TV3.
Of course, we'll get back to Faisal soon. Apologies for that technical hitch. But we are going to be speaking to Christopher Mwako, who is in the Savannah region, and he's joining me as well with more details from there. Christopher, if you can hear me, which exact station are you and what can you report?
Yes, so currently I'm at the Salaga South, that is the East Gonja Municipal EC office, where I'll be voting myself. And as we speak, some political party people have already arrived at the voting center. Some EC officials are also already here, as well as some security personnel. They are only waiting for the ballot papers and other election materials to arrive here at the EC office for voting to commence at 7 o'clock. I must say that so far, having come here, I've not seen a lot of people massing up at the vicinity of the EC office, but EC officials are putting everything in order for the voting to commence at 7 a.m.
Right, Christopher. So, I mean, what's the atmosphere? You've spoken about the preparation there, but what's the atmosphere? Are people already trooping into these voting centers, or they're yet to come?
Yes, so far, I've not cited any one who is expected to vote today, but EC officials have come and they are actually putting in place measures for the voting to commence. I've also just seen two of the voters who are expected to vote today. They are already seated here. In fact, some of them have actually been here even before 6 a.m. and waiting to take part in today's exercise. Like I said earlier, we've not seen people coming, massing up around the EC office, maybe because it's still too early, but some political party individuals have come to position themselves here ahead of the start of the exercise.
Right, many thanks for your time. Back to my colleague Christopher Mwako from the Savannah region, bringing us details of how preparations are going right there. We're going to cross over once again to the Ashanti region, where my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar is standing by. Ibrahim, good morning. What can you report from your region as regards to the special voting preparations?
Well, Judith, here in the Ashanti region, for today, we are expecting 20,486 voters to participate in the special voting. This is in 47 constituencies, but we have 52 polling stations because some of the constituencies have large numbers. Subin, for instance, where 1,377 are voting, they have 2 polling stations. Then we also have Kwabri East also having 2 polling stations. Ifija, Kwabri, Ejusu, and Ofin. So all these places have large numbers, so they also have 2 polling stations. But I'm currently at the Oforikrom police station, where voters within the Oforikrom constituency will be voting. And here we are expecting around 399 voters to cast their ballots today. And as you can see, the EC officials are here. Materials have arrived. They have also set up, and they are waiting for 7 a.m. before the voting will start. I've also seen representatives of the various political parties who are also here. But you know, because this is special voting, not like the general one, these are specialized people who will be voting. So you wouldn't see people coming here to queue in the early hours because these are special officers and the media and also electoral commission. So by 7 a.m., hopefully we will see them beginning to troop here and exercise their franchise.
Right, many thanks for your time. Ibrahim Abubakar is in the Ashanti region reporting on issues of special voting and preparations ahead of voting that will start around 7 a.m. today. Do stick and stay with your election command center because, of course, during the New Day program, we're going to go back to our correspondents on the ground and get more details as voting will start very soon. We do some more stories, and presidential candidate of the MPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has underscored the relevance of the free SHS in transforming lives and spearheading development in the country. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was addressing party supporters at New Durban South as part of his tour of the Eastern region.
MPP ba the free senior high school education be Ghana for Choboy share sabono o man penyi dada country say dada Ghana for a 419 promise ntimi mbaso is not possible and I say it is possible and yaba if you watching ye disabono so ya free SHS yankwada bako 5.7 million omwako senior high school free anka yetie omampenyi dada anka ene Ghana ye ni free SHS ba ene ye di free SHS aba ono ne mreso na chalk ni school and then ye talk computer tablets. Ye bechiche ama every single senior high school student beji computer tablet. Every student, one student, one tablet. Choboy, ebi see that. And yes, students no kwao. Ya tall laptops. Every teacher from kindergarten teacher to senior high school teacher is getting a laptop. One teacher, one laptop. One teacher, one laptop. Choboy, if you see that, the whole of Africa, Choboy, the whole of Africa, 2 weeks ago in the rankings nearby, quality of education in Africa, 50.
We head to the camp of the NDC, and its vice presidential candidate, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has entreated Muslim communities to ensure peace. She emphasized that Islam has contributed immensely to civilization worldwide and urged the people not to allow themselves to be used for social vices.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman was addressing Muslim pupils, students, their teachers, as well as Magajiers and some members of Zongo communities in Cape Coast. The NDC vice presidential candidate emphasized that Islam is a religion of peace and urged the children, their parents and teachers to always ensure peace.
Islam means peace. We want the peace to start with them. Islam has people who have contributed massively to civilization in this world. So beyond, I don't know what the syllabus is, but if this is part of it, I would like to encourage that it's stimulated and give the students confidence to know that our forebears have done it.
She stressed that everyone is equal and condemned those who look down on people living in Zongo communities. The Metropolitan Imam of Cape Coast, Mohammed Bashar Mohammed, expressed gratitude to Professor Nana Jane for building about 75% of Muslim schools in the central region. She has helped to transform the perception of Zongos, who are often viewed negatively or stereotyped by society. Through her actions, she has successfully changed the narrative, earning us a good reputation and showcasing Zongos in a more positive light. She later presented educational materials, including exercise books, math sets, and school bags to various schools and students present.
Well, let's once again touch base with one of our correspondents, this time in the Central region, because a total of 14,570 special voters are expected to take part in voting today across 23 constituencies in the region. Now, in the Wutu Senya East constituency, some 1,298 voters are expected to take part in voting. Akwesi Ado is our Central Regional Correspondent. He joins us with more details on this. Akwesi, which constituency are you reporting from, and what are the preparations looking like?
Okay, so this is the Wutu Senya East constituency. That is Kaswa. And voting is going to be held here at the Kaswa main police station. Back in our shot, you can see that some security officers from the police, from the Ghana National Fire Service, from the prisons, as well as other persons who will be taking charge of special duties on the election day from December 7th, are forming the queue to start voting just when we strike 7 o'clock from this particular center. The EC officials, as well as any person who is to ensure that he or she plays one or two other roles for the smooth running of this particular process is here, and then they have begun those processes. Let me say that this atmosphere has been generally calm. And over here at the police station, they've laid down adequate security measures to ensure the safety of the voters who are coming here. Right from the entrance to this particular facility, they have barricaded there, and then they are having a number of police officers manning the entrance. And so over here in Kaswa, the process is happening late to ensure that voting starts any time soon. And so we are expecting a total of 1,298 persons to take part in voting today. And let me mention that I am also taking part in voting today.
Right. Many thanks for your time. That's a colleague, Akwesi Ado. He has been reporting from the Central region. As I said, we'll be touching base once again with them as the show continues. And indeed, this is your election command center. Now, in international news, at least 54 bodies have now been recovered from Nigeria's River Niger after a boat that may have been carrying more than 200 passengers capsized in the early hours of Friday, the authorities say. Now, 24 of those on the boat were rescued, some of whom are still in hospital, but dozens of others may be missing. The boat was traveling from Kogi State, central Nigeria, to a weekly market in neighboring Niger State, where when it went down. Now, this is just the latest in a long series of accidents on the country's inland waterways. Despite safety recommendations being made, rules are now rarely followed and few are being held accountable. Market traders and farm laborers were thought to have been among the passengers. Well, the cause of the accident is not yet known, but there are indications that many of these travelers may have been wearing life jackets as required. Well, that's our wrap of the 6 a.m. news right here on TV3, indeed, your election command center. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you always. Do stay tuned for the rest of New Day.